TheCorner, where we talk about anime, manga, and everything in between. Today we're talking about interview with Montser Girls, and this was an amazing anime, and I enjoyed every last bit of the first episode. I enjoyed it so much, I watched it like over 10 times now, just so I can get this review right the In this anime, we follow Takahashi, who is a teacher at a high school, and at this high school, they appears to be demi-humans that seem to have appeared at random, but in college, he went on about theses that he was going to do about demi-humans, but couldn't do because the college wouldn't let him, because it was a controversial situation. Well, we first started off with Takahime in a situation where he meets up with a girl, and he doesn't find out this girl's name until way later. Hikari, the vampire of the group, ends up saying, "Oh, huge," and running off, scared like when this happens. And Takahisha, I'm going to call him Taka from now on. Anyways, guys, but Taka ends up very confused on what just happened. Then we end up into the next day and area. There's a new teacher in the school now, and her name is Sato, and she ends up being late for her first day. Taka ends up going about her, and she appears a little bit later. What ends up happening with Taka, another teacher starts asking him some questions about his theses and what he was going to do. Was he the one that was going to be doing the demi-human theses? And he's like, yes, I was. And he was trying to tell him that Sato was a demi-human, and he should talk to her and interview her for his theses in the end. And this ends up to become a giant mess as she runs into the teacher's lounge. In the teacher's lounge, she reveals that she is a demi-human, she is a succubus, and Taka is like, wait, what? Oh my god, and everything like this, and he goes to try talking to her, which ends up to be even more of a mess because he doesn't understand what a succubus is and what ends up happening. She tries to avoid all contact with humans and tries to dress as little sexual as possible, because that becomes a problem with her demi-human abilities. After making a big flop with Sato, what ends up happening is Hikari shows up and yells that one of her classmates has fallen and she needs some help, and he goes up to her and was like, wait, you're the girl from earlier, and she's like, you're the guy from earlier, and then they have a laugh about it. She's all conceited about it. I did the right thing, you should be praising me right now, type of situation, and things end up becoming a little talking back and forth until he goes on about, wait, weren't you here for something? And she's like, oh gosh, yes, my friend, we gotta go quick. So they get over there. Him being surprised about the first demi-human, imagine what's going to happen this time. As they're walking down the hallway, he's like, I can tell you what's wrong with a person just by looking at their face. They get into the room, this person's a Dullahan. I'd like to say Dullahan myself, but Dullahan is a person whose head is literally dislocated from the body and they have to carry it around. So she's just laying on the ground, and Hikari actually takes the head and had already brought it to the nurse's house before and just need help with the body in general. He's a little freaked out because he didn't notice this before, which, by the way, I have something to say about this Dullahan, by the way, and it's the difference between Japanese and dubbed. Japanese dubbed and English dubbed here, guys. Anyways, and he carries her to the office, and things start to get a little bit more interesting. As Hikari makes a deal with Taka to actually come to his area and kind of be interviewed about how it's like to be a demi-human, but she corrects him and says, well, you should call us demis because it's a lot cuter, and we would enjoy that a lot more than being called demi-human. It's just too textbookish, so just call us demis. And he's like, oh, okay. So he starts calling them demis from now on. Finds out she has a twin sister, and she doesn't have the same demi-human powers as Hikari, and it becomes a thing that he finds out and starts to write down, that this is a mutation and not a genetical distribution. They didn't get it from genes, they got it through a mutation during birth. Andy continues to go on about this as they go have a little interview with her coming into the bio room, and he's asking, why did you want to come to the bio room anyways? Because the sun really does hurt me up to a point. I really don't like it. It's the high sun rays really get to me up to a point, and I can't really be overheated either because it's not good for me type of situation. And she goes on about this whole stuff, and they go back and forth, and she makes some valid points on what's going on, what vampires are, and what ends up happening. This interview continues on through most of the episode because obviously the interview with my interview with Montser Girls, but that's the point. We get the better insight on this world's monsters in the first place. As we continue on with this whole situation, we find out that Hikari is a very sweet girl and doesn't realize, like most high school girls wouldn't realize when they're being sexual when they're not at some points in time, just because of the fact of their innocent like minds half the time, which isn't kind of true nowadays with some of our culture. But that's not the point here, guys. That is not the point. We're not going into reality. We're going into Japanese anime reality. Oh man, that doesn't make it even better. Anyways, the interview ends up coming to an end. He gets a good bit for his thesis in the first place, and Hikari ends up going back to the classroom. We find a little bit more about Maki. Maki, the Dolhan, ends up... She has this obvious look on her face when talking to normal girls because they're tiptoeing around her and her demi-humanness. Like, they're treating her differently because of who she is. They're not even asking about her or anything like that. They're just kind of asking like, oh, that must be dangerous, and she goes on about how she's built, and then they awkwardly talk about kittens after that point, and that's in turn ends up what happens. But Hikari ends up actually coming up to Maki and ends up just talking to her human to human, demi-human to demi-human type of situation, and talking about those issues, and you can see her face just light up. Maki's face lights up because she can actually talk about herself without anybody awkwardly trying to change the subject or something like that, and it becomes one of those moments when you just realize that Haki's a great person. She just wants everybody to fit in and do what needs to happen. She knows that she's probably the most situated person out of all the demi-humans at this point in time, because the Succubus can't touch anybody. Dolhans have a head off in their hand and everything, and have to have special things in order to have their head sitting someplace. We get the Snow Woman in this one as well, which can't go above a certain temperature, otherwise she overheats. That means sports are almost impossible for her, and things just end up becoming bad for her. And then we also get, well, I think we've talked about the Succubus one, yeah, but the vampire really doesn't have much of a fail here. Yes, the sun is really hard on her, yes, and she ends up having to cool off every so often, but she can do everything a normal person can, and nobody would realize it. It's just how she is. Anyways, we end up with Maki sending a note to Taka, and Taka ends up reading the note because it's her body right there. She's handing it to her with the body right there and everything like that. A note written saying thank you for what you've done, and can I come and talk to you about stuff, and I can talk to you about my demi stuff if you really want, because I would really enjoy that, because I really do believe she wants to talk about it. And in these type of situations with high school people in general, kids, they have a more of a set mind of they want to talk about them. They want to talk about what's going on with them and what they feel is special about themselves at the time, because it's what really drives people sometimes. But that's a net story for that. Alright, and this is where it pretty much ends off. The anime kind of comes to an end, and they've ran off to talk about things and become pretty good friends in the end. There's a lot that goes into this anime, and a lot that really makes you think about certain situations at hand. I'm not going to go into grave detail because this is supposed to be a happy-go-lucky, fun stream, and we're going to keep this up. I like this anime in the end just because of the aspects that they put forward into it and what they end up doing. The storyline was pretty well thought out, and it really does make you feel like you are watching somebody interview somebody in an accidental type of way, which can really bring into a different aspect of what you really are thinking about this anime. It really does deserve what it's getting so far. It's gotten a Japanese dubbing, it's gotten a English dubbing. It has both of those right now, and it's like doing it. It's like they're like shotgunning this out right now as well, because it is a really good anime, and I can understand why. Me myself, I would honestly think this would be the anime of the year if it really came down to it, because it has great drama. It just has a great storyline when it really comes down to it. At least in this first episode, just watching this first episode was really amazing, and I really enjoyed it. Just Hockey in general being such a great person, and how they're trying to establish a connection with the demi-humans and stuff like that. The interviews really give you more of an insight on these characters as well, because obviously these characters want to talk about who they are and what they're doing, and they found a good way to do it within Taki. And Taki really does want to talk to these people about this stuff, because he wants to have a thesis about it. He wants to give a good explanation on who the demi-humans are. Yes, they have been more accepted in society, but they're not accepted that much. High school is a different story, because normally a lot of people end up accepting people just for who they are half the time, not all the time. Sorry, that's nowadays. Anyways, but yeah, there had been a lot going for this anime in the first place in the manga series, and it had to have been doing very well for itself for it to be getting both the animated series in Japanese and the animated series in the English dub. And there are a few differences in the English dub to the Japanese dubbing, and it comes down to kind of artistic thoughts, like Dullahan's flame went from green to blue, depending on which when you're watching the subbed or dubbed. And then you will also hit a few wording placements that don't make sense in the English dub, because it's a different word in Japanese, but it's the same word in English. So the Japanese word is the same meaning, but it's a different phrase, a different thing that they were saying, a different concept of the word. And they really pushed that out in a good way in the Japanese, but in the English one, you kind of get lost. Okay, well, did he not hear something? And then he repeated what she said? No, he uses a different word in the Japanese. And there's a lot of other differences between the two, but they are both pretty amazing, because they've got really good voice actors for both the subbed and the dubbed. They've tried matching the voices almost exactly to make sure that both English people who love the dubbing and people who love this subbing would have about the same enjoyable experience with this anime. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes it goes further into the scales and people just absolutely adore this anime in the end, because I honestly do. But until the next time, guys, I hope you guys have a great day.